Okay. Uh, I was thinking about, I'm always thinking about all these different things I want to talk about. But I was thinking about today is there's probably a lot of people who don't know any of the stuff that's going on. Like, I'm around people who have no idea. I can only assume there's a lot of other ones. And maybe they're starting to, question things and look into stuff. So I was going to just kind of say some of the stuff a little bit. Because, like, I don't even know, 10 years ago, I think, I hadn't even ever heard of the Illuminati. When I first heard of it and was hearing about it and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh. And I went and asked other people, and like, oh my God, that's old news. Yes, we all know about the Illuminati. Like, well, I never heard of it. and, but also like false flags. A lot of people talk about that all the time. And if you haven't heard about that, then it is where the government, the controllers, they do, they create these attacks on us. And they use MK Ultra. They use all sorts of techniques because they're far advanced on what they're telling us. That's the tricky thing. People think like that they are the same as us. Like their technology is the same. It's not. It's far, far, far advanced. They're involved with aliens and stuff. They just don't tell us because before it was we're too weak-minded. We'd be so scared we couldn't deal with it. So they use that as an excuse. But I think as the population grew, that the controllers saw that they had to get it back under control better because, they use corporations to, run the world, and they continue to profit. Every time I open something plastic, it just is like, oh my God, this is so aggravating. I mean, the things with plastics and, you can't get rid of them, they kill us and all that, the toxins and stuff. Yet they continue to make them, huh? So why would that be? Is it because they're looking out for our health? No. Is it because rich controllers can make money off of plastics and they don't give a crap about the earth or the humans that inhabit it or any of the other animals? Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. And so the plastic stuff, it's just, oh my God, that aggravates me. Every single thing, just opening a package and having all of the bullshit inside the packages. Every single thing they do is so they can make money, so they can take all the money from us, essentially, because they've got more than enough. They've got enough, they've got it all, or they did until, until the white hats, alliance, whatever you want to call them, until they took it over. But that's been a struggle for a really long time to get to this point. I mean, they've had all the money the whole time, and we've all been struggling and pressure on us to be better and feed the poor and all the nonsense. But so the false flags that they do are these events where they will kill a bunch of people. And, that's nothing to them because they follow a globalist agenda, and that is about the population reduction. And if you look up like Agenda 21, there's a lot of information out there, but that they've got it written in government papers about the reduction and how to do it. And it has to do with exactly what is happening. But people are so uninformed, they have no idea. So they don't know that what is happening right now is just the exposure of what we had ourselves into. Like, we were deep in the spider web because of us not being aware, because of us not being awake, having no conscious awareness. We were able to be controlled. And in the control, we are dispensable. We don't matter, We are only good to be consumers or, slaves. Once I became disabled, I'm no longer, I was a perfect slave. I was a workaholic, spendaholic. I was just make it, spend it, make it, spend it, make it, spend it, And I was their perfect slave. Once I got to have a brain injury, that changed. I'm not as productive in how they see it, what they want from people. So I'm dispensable. And then plus, once you get to be older, I don't know what their cutoff is. I would say it's probably about retirement age, and they've moved it, which probably really shocks them because they've been working so hard to kill us. And they don't want you to have very much time in retirement. That's why they probably have pushed it. But also the whole thing about people living longer, that has added to the push. But that's the part I'm talking about. That's the part that they don't like is people living longer because they're, but then, if you think of it from their point of view, they may want to get the DNA from those people because those are their perfect little hybrid AI enslavement beings. And that's what they're trying to create right now. That's the, getting rid of gender identity, getting rid of your abilities to procreate and continue your species under your control. They want it all lab because that is how we were created. We were always, that's been our history. And it's weird how people don't understand that, but there's so much stuff that, they don't know about. But that is part of the stuff that will come out in disclosure, hopefully. I mean, there's a lot of people saying we're only going to get a portion of the truth just because there's so many lies that I don't think that they could even get to it all. There's going to be so much coming out. Just the controllers, it's not only do they do these events and all these science experiments and shit on us, but they they are like a business that's expanding. So they kind of like hire people, but in order to be hired, you have to be a really bad person. And so the people who are in government and stuff are all people, a lot of people in show business and sports and all that. They come to a point where they have the crossroads, Am I going to sell my soul for money and fame and greed and wealth? Or am I going to choose a different path? And, I don't even know that all of them would know when they're faced with that, when they're told that they have to say something that isn't true, and they still do it even though they know it's a lie. That is, some people are going to be going down for crimes against humanity. That's how bad their lies are. So, and I'm thinking of one person right now, a basketball player who's probably got a lot of involvement because he's so vocal. And it's so ridiculous. It's like, oh my God, you say the stupidest shit. How embarrassing for you. Some of these people, oh my God. That's Silverman the other day, or a couple weeks ago, when I saw her saying something, I was like, oh my God, are you guys for real? I mean, is this really coming from inside of you, or you just get a script sent to you in a fucking paycheck? Like, what the fuck? Some of these people are so, God, they're just like sold, But the thing is that a lot of the people who are drawn to these kind of positions are also corrupt people. So it's easy to corrupt them more, especially when you think about politicians and stuff. I don't think it's the same with actors and sports people and stuff like that. The people that get used as celebrity, whatever icons, the people we're supposed to look up to, people we're supposed to listen to for how we decide to live our lives, just listen to the spokesperson. I think that a lot of those people didn't go into it, but then they see, in order to move ahead, you have to do certain things. And I don't even know, I think it's so... It's like starts out kind of soft, like, oh, let's see how far we can push. But then it will get you to a point where, yeah, because the people are really, really bad. The controllers are really bad. And what we what we think of as being a good or bad person, and what we think of as being a human being and stuff. And these people have committed crimes against humanity, so they're obviously not a priority. Their own species isn't a priority. So just their own greed, their own selfishness is their priority. And some of the people are super, super perverted, like super, super perverted. Like the worst things you can imagine. And it's all going to be coming out. It's coming out all the time. It's just the censorship is still so bad that there's still so many people, especially the people who listen to the censored programming, the CNN, MSNBC, Facebook, all the people who go to those social media platforms and those more mainstream media outlets for news. Because even all the news, I told you, my mom had on like Fox, Newsmax, and OAN and stuff, and I'm still just like, oh my God, how can you listen to this? Yesterday, she was so irritated. She was just fuming, and I said, you gotta just turn it off. That's the only way you can be happy, because that is what they are trying to do. They want to keep you upset. I don't think very much of the stuff that's on the news right now has anything other than for your mental, psychological well-being. I think it's just to defeat you, defeat your soul, to just beat you down and make you feel like it's hopeless. This is just the world that we live in. But we're changing the world we live in, and they don't want us to, and they don't like it. But their reign is over. Luckily, I'm so glad I can live through this to see them all go down. I just like not knowing about the Illuminati, whatever, like 10 years ago, and then starting to learn about that. And, I always thought the government was corrupt as fuck. I always was like, how do they take our money and then they just spend it how they want? Why? How's everybody okay with that? Like, I could not even. And you try and talk to people, and people just like, forever. God damn, I remember, Jesus Christ, in my early 20s, I was already a mom working. I was an office manager in a doctor's office. I was like fucking right in there working my ass off. Not getting ahead. I'd have roommates to just be able to support myself in Southern California, and with my kids. I'd share a room and bed with my kids in order to do that. And it has always been a struggle to get ahead. They just, they just keep us so enslaved and so hopeless. And then they've always got a pill. Just take this pill, their magic pill that is just poison. And that's not enough. They've got to poison our water. Just, there's so much information about it. If you think it sounds crazy, just start looking into it. The biggest problem is because of censorship and Google's involved, and you have to find other platforms to even look stuff up. It's really hard to get information. Like, you had to be looking. But once I saw about the Illuminati, it just like more and more things fell into place. That's why I said, like, 2020, all the pieces went together, and all of a sudden you have this big, clear vision. And that was the best thing about Trump, that people just, and that's why they wanted to have people turn against him, because he was a catalyst. He was somebody to wake us up, to make us see what was going on. He kept pointing it out, and then the sound bites would say, would switch it up and say manipulative things he was saying when he wasn't saying that at all. He was waking us up and telling us what the fuck was going on. And that's why he got such a huge following. That's why freaking people are out there with flags and boats and parades and stuff, like, oh my God, someone's telling us the truth. And, that just, it changed a lot for a lot of people. And it was definitely the, what I call like the white bread, small town America that was hit first. And that is another thing I've noticed is it doesn't matter how many rights people keep hearing. These people lost this rights. These people lost this rights. It's the same attitude as what my daughter had when I said that about, there's no chicken. They're shortaging the chicken now because they're controlling the food. I mean, They're poisoning the water. They're poisoning the air, which when I first heard that, I thought, oh my God, that sounds nuts. And then, it's just someone out of the blue sent me the thing. And you start looking into it, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then you start looking up at the sky, and you start seeing. And then, and I mean, all the way back, and it's weird because I swear to God, it was Meryl Streep. And she is, she's definitely part of the people, the yucky people. But I swear it was her talking about the poisons on our food and how important it was to wash your food thoroughly. You need to wash it and soak it and wash it and this whole long thing. And it was when she was more first starting, but I mean, they were talking about the poisons on our food all the way back then. Now, I mean, there's so much stuff. Like, if you don't know about poison on the food, air, and water, you just gotta look it up, and hopefully you can find stuff because of censorship. But it's out there somewhere. There's lots of people, whistleblowers and stuff, speaking out. There's pilots speaking out about the stuff that they're blowing out there in the sky. So you just gotta look stuff up. And, there's information out there. It's just, sometimes I think it's hard for people to figure out, like, where do you even begin? And, unless you're just really, really needing to know all of those facts, because so much of that stuff is about to be coming out. The only reason I'm even saying this is just because I started thinking, I bet you there's some people that just have, like, just no idea. And they're just so confused and so worried that this is the end of the world, especially because you have so many religious people who are, this is Armageddon, this is the end times, this is, what else is it called? That, I keep thinking repercussion. That's not what it's called. Not reincarnation. Well, as far as they're concerned, and talking to my mom, it seems that, so what they get from the Bible is that we're in these times, and the devil's showing itself, he's rearing his ugly head, and we're all seeing it, and all the Christians are going to be tricked and tormented and stuff like that, because, Satan knows which people are good, and then those people get to just leave in the tribulation. They get to just go. And the other people have to stay down here and battle it out because they didn't claim Jesus as their savior. Like, it's very specific. And, but I think the Bible's manipulating them, because I don't think they have all the books in there, and the Bible was manipulated by the Vatican, and the Vatican is the front page of the cabal. They're way up there. Like, I don't know how corporations break down with CEO, CFO, I don't know all of that stuff, but the Vatican's sitting at the table, making decisions of how to control us and kill us. They're super bad. And they wear red shoes. Look it up. It's fucking disturbing as fuck. And it's not just any old red shoes. They're bad. Yeah. And if that's where you're going to for your source of inner knowing is Bible, you're being manipulated in the hugest way. I mean, it's like the main manipulators are right there giving you the book. So you've got to go inside and see what makes sense. You can't just believe every word that they tell you. It's so manipulated. And, you have to go inside and find what feels right, what sounds right to you inside. Because, I don't know, people are so cut off from their inner voice. But, in the spiritual world, this is a cycle. This is a moving to a new age. It's cosmic. It's the galaxy. It's the universe. It's the whole thing. Because that's what we are all a big part of. We're not separated. Like, God is this two. We're in God's image, and it's these two guys up here fighting over our souls up there in heaven. That's a made-up story. And I mean, it isn't like they take facts, but they manipulate them, because there is energy, there has to be balance. There is good and evil and stuff, but it is not like how we think it is. You know what I mean? It's like you could think, yeah, evil's out to get me and they're trying to steal my soul. Well, then you aren't very connected to your soul, because you should be able to have the discernment and to be able to listen to the different communication sources that are out there who are speaking to you. And you should be able to recognize if something is bad or evil or whatever, because if you are going and following those, then you're turning your soul over to that evil or bad or whatever. Because inside, you need to have discernment. You need to have your own moral compass. You need to know what's right and wrong. So whatever information's coming into you, you can't just be like, oh, well, if it's in my head, then that's it. No, you have to discern where you're, and if you're in a really negative, low, blah, the world sucks, everything sucks kind of headspace, then you're down in a deep, lower vibration where you have got a lot of shitty energy coming at you, because it's dense, it's low, and you are feeding it, and it's going to feed you back. It's going to attach to you as you are feeding it. So yeah, and you're going to feel heavier, you're going to feel sicker, you're going to feel more low. And the way to get out of that, I say, just start out, turn on some freaking lively music, jump up, start dancing, get your energy going, build that energy up into a positive, blare your music, dance, sing, act silly, no matter how stupid you feel, if you're crawling out of bed and you haven't taken a bath in 2 weeks, you're just so down and you just feel suicidal, do whatever you can to open the door, get some fresh air, turn on some lively music, not music that's going to make you down and depressed, not music that's going to make you feel worse. Turn on the happy music. Somehow get yourself moving around. Start feeling, you've got to raise your energy. You've got to raise your vibration. This is all on you. There is no savior coming to do this for you. You have to do it for yourself. And we're in this grand, great awakening. So your soul is being shown. Your soul is being awakened. Your soul is, your soul is excited to get out there and experience, most of us repressed our soul to just try and survive. We had to shut it down. So, start watering it. Start jumping up and getting excited, because that will build. You'll attract that energy. That will build. Pretty soon you'll just be like, oh my God, how did I feel so bad a couple weeks ago? I feel so good now, but it's all on us. We have to be the change we seek. We have to make the earth we want. We have to unify, come together as a collective. That is what I was talking about too. That is the creation of a new, what we consider to be a God. That is a creation of a new God, a new philosophy, a new being or something. We are creating that, and we unify. We come together. We share ideas. We don't judge. We accept one another. That is how we are creating this. And, we're doing it, there's no way around it. It's like a cosmic cycle. And your soul knows why it's here. And, I think there's going to be a lot of people, religious people, who are waking up too. To I was being tricked by this book. I mean, God was right there next to me the whole time. We are part of God. I think it's funny too how they've had so many superhero movies lately, because so many people are like, oh, superheroes. You are a superhero. You have all these abilities. You have abilities that have been repressed from you that you have no idea about. And, and you are from distant lands and distant planets. This isn't your first time around. This isn't your first rodeo of being born, so just do what you can to tune in. And, like I say, you just got to ride this wave. And, remember, you are your savior. You are who's going to save you. And, you know, we're all in this together. So reach out. You can reach out to me, reach out to others. And, I know it's hard right now because there's a lot of people who haven't woke up and they are living in a very different, the words are manipulated. It's just very different. So anyways, but it's definitely going that direction. We're on the road. So have a great day and work on you.